20 years.
Why are
I
you a
know.
stylist? Why?
Oh, why? I was like 20
No,
years.
I'm teasing.
Why am I a stylist? Well, I love fashion and I love image making and I love how clothing tells a story about a person and a city.
And tell us, like, what are the high points of being in that business? Like, what's the best part of it?
The best part of it is when you are able to work with an artist for a long time and develop their overall image and see it take a life of its own where everyone believes it. That sounds really shady, but I'm not trying to be shady. And
You're just taking credit for other people's
Yeah.
persona via style.
because I created the persona.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then that kind of segues into, something I'm a fan of and I keep an eye on is basically street fashion, right? Which would be people on the street wearing what they wear, not showing up for an event or for a function or for a video or for a photo shoot, but just kind of out and about like we all are right now. And I think, what you're wearing is a way of communicating with the world at large, right? So, and I think specifically Los Angeles, what made you want to document LA style?
I wanted to document LA style. First of all, I'm born in California, and I've lived in LA since 2002. And all the artists and the projects I've ever worked on are LA focused, or the people are from LA. And I find all my inspiration from Los Angeles. And when you go outside of LA, people have a lot of wrong, negative things to say about LA. Like the first thing, LA has no style. LA has no culture, and it's like I'm like, dang, I can't believe we're moving into the 2010s and people are still saying this. So I was like, somebody's got to capture what is going on in LA, the real LA, not the Hollywood industry, which has value, but the real LA, and it needs. I guess it's gonna be me because nobody's doing it. So I was like, I need to make this because all of these subcultures I've been a part of for years, all of the people that I'm around really inspire me culturally and style-wise, and the world at large, whether people want to fully admit it or not.
Yeah, so I guess LA isn't really in the conversation as much as other places. Like you think of when you think street fashion, it's like Japan and New York, right?
Yeah,
Those are the first two, and that's where all the magazines come from, the books. But LA isn't really in the conversation. No. And I will say this, that there is a lot of terrible shit in LA, and that it doesn't mean that there isn't good stuff, but the terrible stuff is what people see, from 1,000 miles away. And to know what's happening in LA, it takes some work because LA is very big, it's very segregated, and it's kind of hard to tap in, right?
Yeah. Sorry, just saw a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, it is hard to tap in. That's the thing. Like in LA, because it's driving culture and it's not a walkable city, it's harder because you're not like standing on a corner taking photos and getting lucky all day with people walking around. You have to know the pockets and the neighborhoods to go to, so you have to really be an insider. And you do have to, follow Kendrick Lamar's verse in Dodger Blue, which is travel past the 10. Because if you're just going to WeHo, then yeah, you're getting one small segment of, and low-key, I live in with WeHo, but I just moved there. But like, it is a little bit like Midtown in New York, where it's not really the cultural hubs and subcultures of the city. So you have to go other places.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny. I grew up in Venice, but I live in Silver Lake now. But I haven't been to WeHo in years. Just haven't been there because it's like such a trek. But in my mind, WeHo is like everyone's just having like mimosas at brunch all day, right? Like is that WeHo? I don't know.
And juices and Erewhon and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that it's like any big city, when people kind of flock to it, they a lot of people from a lot of different places will go there and kind of. That turns into what the city is, and a lot of those people are kind of living out a different reality than they did at home, and they're doing what they think the city is also, and it's not really that, and that nothing wrong with that. It's just the way things are. But I mean, why do you, as far as like LA, can you talk about pockets of geography that are relevant to you as far as like where would you go right now, right, to look at people walking around that you think have good style in LA?
Well, first, Leimert Park forever. I love. That place is really special and special to me, especially because when I moved here and went to FITM in the early 2000s, the first a roommate's friend was related to this guy, and I went to high school with him and his brother, and the guy happened to be Khalil Joseph, and he took me to Leimert Park, and Leimert Park was they had a party called Juju, and it was with this DJ crew called the Soul Children, and which they're kind of still around. I mean, R.I.P. Al Jackson, but it was like a little kind of juke joint, and it was just juice. No alcohol. I think there might have been probably weed, but it was just like a party in Leimert Park, and I remember just being like, "This is so sick! Like, look at how everybody dresses and looks, and it's still like that. Like, that's what I love about Leimert Park is that Leimert Park doesn't change either, and they still have the drumming circles, they still have some of the same stores, and that's what I really like about that place." And then the second place I would say is Venice Beach Boardwalk is one of my favorite places ever. When I would be depressed throughout in the early 2000s, and even maybe less now, but back then I would walk Venice Beach Boardwalk. It has the best looking people, styles, the way the kids look. There's just this certain kind of tan everybody has and hair. I mean, you're from Venice, so you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So I love those are two of my favorite. Oh, and Hollywood Boulevard. We love Hollywood Boulevard. That place is crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
I
so
mean,
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, like Venice and Hollywood Boulevard, for me, I spent a lot of time as a kid just sitting. I would just sit on a bench on the boardwalk. I would sit there for 3, 4, 5 hours, just sit there and look at people. And I wasn't so much looking at style, I was just looking at people. And the kind of people you see in Venice, because the whole city comes in. You see guys in lace warm-up suits with boa constrictors. And,
Yeah.
And I'm old, so I used to see people with the Jerry curl and all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's
wow, love that.
I miss doing that. And I don't think I actually was paying attention as much to style as I was to just personality. But maybe those two things go hand in hand. I don't know.
I think they go in hand for sure. And because again, the street style and the culture of the people it's a marriage. So I think they do go hand in hand. And those places that I mentioned have a specific style,
You got me thinking, because really, I don't think about it. I don't have perspective on what I'm wearing and what it means to other people. I'm just kind of wearing what I think looks good or feels good at that time. But so much of what people put on is really, you're really telling them something about yourself. If I put on a suit, I'm telling you a whole different story, right? Or if I dress, in creased khakis and a t-shirt, I'm saying something different, right?
Yeah.
So it's I'm pretty personally, I have a pretty simple dress code. I don't really dress crazy, but I think now the way youth culture is with fashion, it's so over the top and it's cool. I love it. But I see kids with Frankenstein shoulder pads and 30 piercings on their face and a wig. It's everyone is now doing something that is post drag, post rave, post everything. It's something else. You know what I mean? And it's got nothing to do with gender or anything. It's just kind of these are New York kids I see doing this, Or another thing, what's funny? Sorry, go ahead.
I know you were going to I thought you were, before you said New York, because we're talking about LA today, okay?
Yeah.
But I thought you were leading to your favorite newer subculture, the Dead City, their favorite, the Dead City Punks kids. Yeah, because they're a post of plenty of things mixed together, which you taught me, actually, because we had the conversation when I was making the book about, oh my God, so one of my favorite subcultures in LA are all the Mexican rockabilly kids, and where are they? They disappeared. It was they were here, and then after the 2010s, they were completely gone. And I'm where? And you're well, because that's over. It's the Dead City Punk kids, and you were the one telling me all about it because you went to their first show and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, and I thought about that. And remember I kept begging you, can you please take me to a show? I want to take pictures of the kids. And you were like, I cannot take you to a show. It's way crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody out there has been.
You're too fussy to be in that place. Trust me.
You were there's bonfires happening and craziness.
Yeah. Well, what I did find interesting about that is that generation, I went to a show and I did a film there, and I set up a psych in like very close to the pit at this one illegal show, and I shot a series of kids, and like they had somehow perfectly replicated and represented every genre of punk. It was like
That's so cool.
every version of punk, from squatter to electro post, whatever the fuck. It was all there. I mean, I don't know. I'm misquoting what it is, but it was like I could see every. It wasn't just like typically that's not what you see at a punk show. It's like there's a very certain style of punk, right?
Right.
And I think that the way the kids are now is like they educate themselves very quickly. You can learn anything you want to learn on the internet, and they also are not shy about adopting or emphasizing something that they appreciate, and they're good at it. They really nail it because they even get down. They know the music, they know the style, they know everything, and I'll show you that stuff sometime. It's
No,
cool.
I mean, yeah, I know. It's like more of like, I feel like the more traditional punk, especially LA kind of punk looks, are still at the trash talk shows. Because when I was making this book, like a lot of the kids in the book that I took photos of, I already knew, but I only street casted one time, and that was at the Trash Talk show. That Lee, again, I'm begging Lee, who's in Trash Talk, like, can I please come to a show? I want to take. He's like, no, you're gonna get kicked in the face. I don't really think it's your type of show. And I'm like, well, isn't there like a safe place? And then Tai G at Heavyweight had a show, which is a safer version of their shows. And then I went and I literally scouted 2 kids in the book from that show that I may have not seen or known. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole separate genre, which is hardcore. It's like a whole other world. It's like they're on some like I don't even know. Like it's like half hip hop, half frat, half punk, something else. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting, like all the different variations. So back to the LA thing too, to take it back. And I don't know if we covered this, but like how do we differ style wise?
Well, again, when I was making this book, I also thought about this a lot. Like, well, New York, Paris, London, and Japan are walkable cities. So you're going to get dressed for the whole day. So that's going to be a different thing, right? So you're going to be layered, which everybody loves and likes to say, well, that's what real style is, being layered and this and that. But in LA, you wouldn't be layered because you're in a car. So you're literally getting dressed for the activity you're about to do. And maybe you're walking around a little bit, but not really. And then it's also about the neighborhood where you're from. So that's why I made sure that it was about the style, the people, and the locations. Because in the certain neighborhoods, people do have kind of a common thread of how they dress. And that's more of the way to tell the story about LA style versus all the other cities. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're influenced by growing up in Venice. There was a gang culture, there was a surf culture, there was a skate culture, there was an artistic / hippie culture there too. In the older days, there was a little bit of biker culture, and so growing up there, you have access to all of that, and people would kind of figure out which way they were going. And but I still to this day am influenced by that idea of like. I think that like my personal take on it is like I always want to feel comfortable and functional, because if you're, to your point about New York and LA, like if you're going out in the morning in New York, you might not come back till the next day. It's just the way it is. So you got to have everything there, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's cold. But in LA, everyone's going back and forth, and you have your short, so it's more stripped down, and I think it's more kind of functional.
Yeah.
But actually that's not true, because in New York you have to wear like gorp and all that shit. So
yeah, and here you literally could wear shorts and a sweater in fall.
Yeah.
And like that's your look.
True.
And a coat.
True.
Yeah. That's the other thing that changes everything is it's sunny here 80% of the time. So you also dress differently because of that also. And during the day we know it's warm here, but at night it's the desert, it's freezing. Except for a couple months in the summer, which I think also changes everything. But it's the cars. The car part of it really changes.
Yeah, we have a real...
And the distances of the neighborhoods. That's why when people do come here, even my friends from out of town who haven't spent a lot of time here, when I finally take them around places, they're like, wow, there's so much cool style and subcultures and culture. I never knew this. And I'm like, yeah, because you're coming in town to work. You're staying at, the edition, and then you're just doing that, but like there's this whole other thing going on. And that's why another reason why I wanted to make sure I captured all of the diverse intersections of all of those in this book.
So let's talk about the book. Oh, there's Raven. Let's talk about the book, because this is everyone is in here, and it's an ambitious undertaking. Like, you shot a lot of people, and location-wise, the locations are fantastic, because every backdrop to every person and their outfit. I wish we had this thrown up on the screen here.
I know.
I'm just thumbing through this, and it's. I mean, how long did it take? Number one, because this looks crazy.
This took 3 years to make. Now we're getting into 4, but because it's the after making, there's still more work. But 3 years to make of me, and also I wasn't a photographer before, and I learned how to take photos to make this book, because I was like, I know how it should look, and I have to be in control of the photography. So learning photography as I went, and driving all around the city and scheduling everybody by myself, because I produced it by myself.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy feat in LA, because we're all so chill, you know? So it's like, yeah.
So you ended up shooting a lot of this yourself?
I shot all of it.
You shot all of this?
100%.
Everything?
Everything.
Some good photography in here. That's impressive.
Thank you.
Really good composition, like color-wise, too. Like the palettes these people are standing against with their clothes are really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is
I had
impressive.
control over that. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, when you undertake something on your own, right? Like, this is your own project. So, from what I understand, you built it and then you got it made. It wasn't like anyone was behind you, right? You're out here just making it happen.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you really learn, soup to nuts, how everything, you see how the sausage is made. Like, you got to shoot it yourself, right? I mean, this is intense.
The daylight, you have to make sure.
Yeah.
That was the big learning curve with me taking photos during the day, was the lighting, obviously, and relying on friends that I have that are professional photographers and asking them, like, what the best time of the day is. And I would just be like, it's about golden hour. We're just going to do that because the light will be right. But then, some people are like, girl, all I can do is one. So you just got to catch me when you catch me. And then I'm like, oh, so stressed, like, and sweating when I'm doing it. But I'm like, okay, what's interesting, I will say too, is with taking the photos is that everything that I know and have learned with styling, and just all of my knowledge, because I grew up, in the 90s and the 80s. So I'm looking at magazines and books forever, more than online. That's my whole Rolodex, like my whole index in my mind is from books and pictures. So obviously I learned and had knowledge because of that with my composition and everything, but it was also just like a feeling where I just knew, okay, we got the photo. Like, I captured the person right, I got their essence, I got the outfit right, this is a location, okay, we're done. Some people, like Arrow, she only had like 8 photos, because I was like, I got this. And some people, I might have to take more. Maybe I need to make them more comfortable, or the composition was weird, or the lighting, oh my God, the lighting, stressful.
Like, did Gil bring this car to shoot in front of?
You want me to tell you about that day?
Yeah, let's talk about Gil. I know him. I know how he gets down.
Gil is so beautiful and like one of the best dressed in LA for sure. And Gil is, he's Rolling Stone. That's how I'll say that. And that day he was like, shoot me in Benedict Canyon. And I'm like, Benedict Canyon, okay. And he's like, yeah, that's where I live now. And I'm like, but I know he's from a whole different part. So I go to meet him. I'm on my way. He's like, you know what? Never mind. We're going to shoot at my grandma's in El Sereno?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's like 45 minutes away. And as I'm driving, I'm like, I don't know what direction I'm going. Give me the address. I had to like beg him for like 30 straight minutes.
Yeah, that checks.
Yeah, and then I get it. And then we get there and he's like moving trash around. Got a little outfit together, brought me iced tea from his grandma's. His grandma's a legend.
But worth it. Look at that shot
like,
with the car. It's one of the most impressive shots. Like, that's great with the car. It looks like you paid for this to happen.
There was no location scouting. It had to happen on the day.
Yeah. I mean that's how that's what I've done entirely. Like we've done that. We've operated on the fly and now we do it properly. But like for years we just kind of ran out into the world and saw what happened.
Yeah.
Which is, and for it to look good is you got to have an eye. So like, what's your criteria for selecting models and the locations.
talent.
Can you talk through that?
Yeah. Okay. So some people I shot it in their neighborhoods, and some people I shot in front of iconic spaces that really meant something to them. Like this really wonderful girl named Serena. I shot in front of Saddle Ranch because that place is really special to her, and was on Sunset Boulevard.
Why is Saddle Ranch special to her?
It's iconic.
Okay, is that
that's
her
Serena.
back there? Oh my God! What's up, Serena? Shout out Saddle Ranch. I want to know.
It is.
Okay.
She's born and raised in LA,
Okay.
and she has an amazing archive Instagram called She's Underrated. Boop. But like, so Saddle Ranch was important to her, but it was really cool because I was like, no, this is so if you know her, I'm like, this is so her. I definitely want to shoot there, and it's really iconic. So, and it made sense.
Have you ever been there?
Yes.
I've been there once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Did you ride the bull?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
I don't think so.
Okay. But
I
but then some people I shot like Push a Rod. That was in it. I was in there.
You got the
with
infamous
Pusha
Cali
Rod.
DeWitt on his street.
Cali DeWitt. I
Yeah,
know.
used to
He
be
put
my
on such a
street.
good outfit. Oh, I love Cali.
Sick. You know what's really cool about this is that like, we forget that, we are so spread out. Everyone's doing so much. Everything's digital, but like we do live in a community of people here. And I'm looking through this, and like I know a lot of these people, and they're from so many different walks of life. You have Arrow, and then you have Cali, and you got fucking Ravy, and like, it's interesting seeing all these people together because I don't think of them together, but we do all exist in the same kind of vector, right? So
Yeah.
it's really cool to see this.
Yeah. And that was important to me too, because again, when I moved here and I went to school and did all that, and during the day, like maybe my second year in college, I started working on Robertson Boulevard because back then that was kind of the spot. There's a store called Anne Klein, and then it was next to Kitson, and I worked at Kitson back then when like Britney Spears, they'd close down the store for her and all that. But then at night, I'd be working in all these really cool supper clubs. That was a whole different scene because it was Temple Bar, Little Temple, and Zanzibar, and then it'd be like Mad Lib and Dilla and like Fly Low and like Thundercat. But then during the day, I'd be doing that, and I'm like, but all of this is LA. Like that's what I'm saying. One is not better than the other, and that's also really important for me to get the message out. Like nothing is better than the other. Everything has value, but seeing it together, you can just really see like this is all LA. Like it's not just about this or that. It's not about trashing WeHo and saying one place is better, but it's about capturing all together. You know?
Oh yeah, well, what the fuck is this? Long Beach? Is that LA? Let's keep it real. Is it? No,
First
I'm
of
kidding.
all,
We love
but-
Vince. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Long Beach is like a sister to LA.
No,
That's why
he's in LA.
Yeah. But that was
I'm
actually
teasing
not
you.
even in Long Beach. That was in the neighborhood he lives in now, which is the most beautiful place ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about YG? Like how was it hard nailing him down?
No, he was so professional and together.
Really?
Yes.
He's a man of few words. How did you get him to
He
give you a
talked a
whole
lot.
paragraph? This is crazy.
He talked a lot.
He must have liked you because he doesn't say much.
He was pumped
Wow.
because he was like, yes, someone's doing a book about LA style.
Oh,
Exactly.
because he's on his whole fashion thing. That's
yeah,
why.
he was like, exactly.
He wants to be
People
known
don't-
for his style. Okay.
But he was like, people don't know, like LA, and he knew all his references of how he dressed, and he
Yeah.
was expounding on it. Like he watered down the carport for us to make sure that it was really nice.
Yeah, he's serious about his look. Actually, I realize that.
Yeah.
Are there any other people in here that you any notables?
Well,
that-
Damn Funk. I love that we have Damn Funk in the same book as like Arrow, The Wild. That's
Yeah.
sick. That's so LA.
Yeah,
Like-
the variation's crazy.
Yeah, like Arrow DeWild, she's like she's in a rock band. That's really amazing. Her mom is a legendary photographer, Hollywood photographer, and it was cool to shoot her in Los Feliz, and then it was cool to shoot Damn Funk in Pasadena. But we're still gonna claim Pasadena, and it's just like that. And also, like I was saying, shooting Push a Rod was really great because like I was in 7th and Main, like I was really in South Central shooting him, and like that's the other thing I also want to say is everybody that I shot, a lot of people I've known forever, but I've never been to their homes or their neighborhoods. And when I was there, like the sense of pride that people have about their neighborhoods here in Los Angeles, and just how intimate it is to take someone's photo in their neighborhood. It's a different experience for both people. and also just how kind everybody was. They'd be like, "We're walking you to your car," or "Don't get out of the car, wait for us." Some
Don't
of
get out of the
them,
car.
you know, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, it was really amazing.
This is a get. Lauren London. Is she from? She's from West Los?
Yep.
Really? I did
Yep.
not know that. I thought she was from like Atlanta or something. I didn't
No,
know this.
Lauren
Oh.
London is born. She's a princess of LA. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I know that, but still, I
Because she's
didn't.
born and raised in LA.
Oh.
Lauren, I've known Lauren for many years.
Mm.
This was a blessing getting that. That was
Mhm.
not easy. That was not easy. But I was like, I can't do a book about LA style and culture without Lauren London. She's
And you
amazing.
represented Koreatown here with Dumbfounded. He's great.
He's the
Love that guy.
greatest.
Yeah.
In front of the Korean radio station.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
I love
That's cool.
Dumbfounded. I know.
So let's talk about the
Okay.
process of actually like getting this book made.
Getting it
You want to
made.
walk through that?
Yeah. So then after all the photos are done, you know, you have to have like an art director and stuff. So like I worked with all my friends on this, and I had a really great support system with that. Kilo Quiche, the musician, also she art directs a lot of projects like on the low. So she was like, I want to art direct your book. And I'm like, yes, I want you to art direct my book because I won't have to worry about anything. It's going to look amazing. So she art directed the book, and then Choma Nadi, the editor in chief of British Vogue, wrote the foreword, who's also a longtime sis of mine. And then we had the wonderful Sick Kid, artist from LA, hand draw maps. Crazy, I know.
You seem very connected. You got some real heavy hitters in here, let me tell you.
I know. I mean, even I know, but like even looking at it, be like, dang, wow, I love
Yeah.
this because
Yeah.
like, and then just like everything was just like people were excited because everyone knew each other. Like community is like the worst buzzword ever. I hate that it's a buzzword now, but it really is a community. Like this whole thing.
It'd be so cool if this map existed in some sort of unfoldable format that you had for sale. Is that true? Does that happen? Let me know. What's
It
going on?
is, and there will be some on sale. Not here, but there will be some next week
Okay.
at the launch.
Yeah, Sick Kid's
Yeah.
the best. I love it. I love everything that you assembled for this. I mean, it's just it's great.
Yeah. Oh, and Taz. We got to talk about Taz Arnold.
Let's talk about Taz.
Taz
Yes.
Arnold is the original black hipster of LA,
Mhm.
and he's so important, and not just for his style, but all of his cultural contributions in Los Angeles. And
Overdose and all that stuff.
Overdose
Yeah, yeah.
and Sarah, creative partners.
Yeah.
I mean, the first group that Good Music signed.
Mhm.
I've known Taz that long. I went to his first show ever, his first Sarah show with Omas and Shafiq at the Temple Bar where I used to work. And I was like, maybe I met him right before that, but I was like, who is this cool dude with black angel wings performing this crazy, amazing music?
Mhm.
And I would just, and so to see where he is now, like, I'm not surprised. But Taz Arnold is like, that was a really special one, too.
He's part of that early. There's like a notorious picture of Kanye with a bunch of people in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Where they're
It's
all
like-
dressed like him.
Yes, and it's him and 5 people or so.
Yeah, Virgil.
Very early though. This is like
Very
when they were still on their
early.
Louis Vuitton kind of.
When those people were not being invited to Fashion Week.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Even Kanye was not then.
Yeah, he was kind of an inspiration for all those guys, I think.
He
right?
was, because that whole look, they're dressing like him. Like,
Yeah.
they loved Taz.
Yeah.
Taz is really influential.
He was ahead of his time. huh?
Way ahead of his time.
So as far as like what about like going into this blind? Because I remember talking to you about it. You
All
know,
the time. Yeah.
And just talk about your experience. Is it scary? Were you worried? Like because this is a crazy undertaking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was scared every day. Are you playing? Come on, I'm keeping it so real at all my talks. I was scared every day. Like, I still get nervous because I just was like, you just have to keep remembering, like, if you build it, they will come. Like, all the resources you need. I just knew that I needed to do it, and I really wanted to do it. So whatever challenges came about, because there were so many challenges, I just was like, I just have to get through every challenge with, like, grace, be respectful to everybody. It's okay to mess up. It's okay not to know how to do something. You can learn how to do something. And I just wanted to make sure that no matter what, everybody I took a photo of, hopefully they love their photos. So far, so good. And that I really captured who they really are. Because the thing is, it's not just, like, this book isn't really just about me. It's about all these people. So it has to make sense that everybody really feels represented properly. And that made me the most, not nervous, but just concerned to make sure that everyone is like, okay, you got me. Like, this is me. I love this. Not like, like pissed because photo it's like bad or something like that, you know. And we should talk about this a little bit too, because this day we should talk about is the day where I shot you and Sponto. And before I started taking the photos on my own, I did hire a photographer to take photos, because I was like, oh, I'm not a photographer, I'll just curate it all. And Alex and Sponso let me take their photo like several times, like maybe 2 times with the other photographer years before, and they just weren't right. And then soon after I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna have to take the photos to get this really right. And I don't take photos, but I'm just gonna have to learn how to take photos and hope that my great taste in this medium translates in this one. And then that day when I took both of your photo, I remember you guys were really busy. Maybe you were doing a whole other interview with someone else, and I just had to pull up at the park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember that day, because it was early in the days of making this, it was like, I think my memory card, I didn't have it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And I didn't know, and I took one photo, and I was like, oh my God. And you and Sponsor were like, what? I'm like, my memory card, I don't have it. And I felt so like a loser amateur. So bad. And then you were like, but we're going to take more photos down the street at your house. And I lived by you then, your old house, one of my old place too. And then I took more photos, but the first photo was the photo. That was the one. That's the one that's in there.
Not for me.
You look, ooh.
Well, this is what I always think about is like men's, and I can only speak on men's pants, really, and the way men's pants kind of fluctuate, right? The sizing and like the way that it's just always going up and down. You know, they're getting smaller and bigger and smaller, and I can tell I was in the wrong phase of pants right here. You know, Sponto had the right pants on. I had the wrong pants on. They're just
Sponto be looking sharp.
Yeah, they're a little too thin. I didn't think about it as much as he did. And now I've learned my lesson. What's your advice for pants and men? Do we stay baggy? Do we stay baggy for life and just commit?
I don't think it's baggy for life. I think it's whatever your actual style is. That's what you should wear.
That's true.
That's my advice for all style.
Yeah, but you should pick a lane, right? Because
I don't think you're a skinny pant dude. No.
A what pant?
A skinny pant guy.
No. But these aren't skinny. They're just not baggy. You think those are skinny?
They're just straight cut.
They're straight cut.
Straight cut.
I have a lot of lessons to learn. I got to tell you. I mean, yeah. I just think about this. It's funny because there will be a time when we're going to turn around and everyone's going to be in ass tight jeans again, right? You can't fight City Hall, right? It's going to happen.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm not looking forward to it because I'm not going to change again.
Do not do it.
No, I'm not doing it.
Don't do it.
No,
I'm
not.
Upset.
I'm good. I'm done. I'm set in my ways. I have,
yeah.
This is what I'm going to look like until it's over. Pretty much.
Right. I hear you.
It's over for me, yeah.
It's over. This is last pair of pants.
This is my last pair of pants. last shoes, last pants, last sweatshirt. I'm done. Yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah. But also the book has, again, there are some, it's 80% LA natives, but there are some trickle of non-LA natives. But they're people, in my opinion, who contribute to the zeitgeist of the inner LA culture. So that's why they're in there.
Oh, there's Georgie. She was asking me today if she was in the book.
Georgie's in it? Oh, that day
Georgie's
was good.
out of control. Her
Did
style?
you look at her outfit? Yeah.
San Diego, by
that
the
at
way.
8 in the morning. Well, really Tijuana. But that at 8 in the morning with all the construction workers downtown LA, they were going crazy. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Like, the thing about this is that you had to ask a lot of people for a lot. How do you, I couldn't. I don't like asking people for favors too much.
No, me either.
And how did you, like, there's, how many people are in this book? Like, there's
126.
So it's 126. And let's calculate that into hours. It's like 400 hours of pestering people, right?
Crippling anxiety.
And crippling anxiety. Because it seems like that part of it for me would be the worst.
You have no idea. What?
Yeah.
There were people where I'm like, and you know what? Guess what the trick is? You cannot freak out on anyone for saying no or changing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to be like, no worries. Even though I was 5 minutes away, I'll circle back in 8 months.
Yeah.
And you just had to be like persistent, but in a really respectful way. Because again, like, it's their time and they're trusting me to be in a book and me take their photo, and I'm not known as a photographer. So I have to be way chill. Like, I can't be like, yo, you got to do this. You're whack if you don't. Like, I can't be like that. So that was like really hard. Yes.
Now you have proof of concept. And now people are going to be like, can I be in your book? Because you have a book to show.
I know.
And I also know something else about you is that all the people that didn't show up, they are in your little black list because you are a petty motherfucker.
A little bit.
And
There's
you
a
will never
stain on my
forget.
heart. There's a
You'll
stain
never
on my heart
I
for
know
some
you.
of them.
Yeah. But then you know what?
Yeah.
Bring them around for the second book. Get
Yeah.
them in the afterlife. They'll be all
Yeah,
right.
of course. I'm not rude or anything, but I'm just like, yeah. If they asked again now, if they're like, I'll do it, I would say yes. But I'd be like, I remember you weren't down for me in the beginning. Yeah.
So
But
what do
yeah,
you can we talk like,
yeah.
with this book, let's just talk about, do you have any dreams, hopes, ideas that what this might turn into for you? Like what's the goal here?
Well, the goal is to show the world that LA has style and culture, and and the locations, which is a big part of the book too. But I would love to do, if they sell out, I would love to do a deluxe issue, because there are some people, some really next level people that didn't make it because they didn't sign off on time. So they'll be included in the deluxe. One that just pains me. I can't even get over it.
Can you say who it is?
Yeah. I have an amazing photo of DJ Quick.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the most amazing photo. But he took a while to sign off. And by that time it was being printed. So I'm like, you'll be in my deluxe. But and I would love for this to become a documentary where we can get into the nitty-gritty of the history of things. Because I think, again, that needs to be time-stamped also. Before we lose regional style also, because regional style is kind of getting flat because of the social media.
Yeah, it's regional style is evaporating, right? Well, it's interesting, not to go off on a tangent, but I remember when the South started influencing New York, and like when A$AP Rocky came out, and that musically and visually, and then LA influenced the South with the white T-shirts.
Yeah.
Remember that whole wave in like the early thousands, probably. So when that was a little more organic. Now it's just kind of like everyone has access to everything at all times. And then when people start figuring out how to dress with AI, it's a wrap, right?
Yeah, it's getting tricky because you're like, tabbies. Everyone's in tabbies. That means I'm a fashion person. But then like the tabby girl in LA, the tabby girl in Paris, and the tabby girl in New York are all the same. So it's like, well, what are your roots of style? Which is it's okay to be that girl. I'm not dissing that person, but I'm saying like the regional style is getting flat. I'm not dissing that person. The regional style is getting just flat a little bit. That's like, again, when the rockabilly kids, I know I can't give this up, but when the rockabilly kids disappeared before I could really capture them, because I was like 10 years too late, it like kind of broke my heart a little bit, because I was like, what? I love them. They inspired like clients that I've dressed. That whole time like of Mexican rockabilly kids inspired me. So I was like, oh, we got to capture these before they go away.
Listen, you got to find those dudes. They all
Where
have
are
3
they?
kids, and
They're older.
They're older, but they'll pull it out for you.
They'll pull it
Yeah,
out.
you got to tap in.
I
If
know.
you find one, you'll tap. I mean, there's so many. It was a whole thing.
Well,
So-
there was this one guy that I think I saw on your guys' Instagram, and he was down to do it, but then when he read the talent release, he wasn't feeling some of the language and said no.
Oh, really?
And I was like, well, I kind of need this from my publisher. It's pretty standard. He was not into it.
He didn't want to give up his image in perpetuity till the end of time, some shit. Yeah.
That's what it says in there. And
Yeah.
I was like, but I swear it's just for the book. I'm not. But he wasn't into it. That was a shame. There was one.
Okay, so is this, is there going to be a part 2? Are you going to go anywhere else with it? What are your thoughts?
I know everyone keeps saying this. I mean, okay, I don't know about other places because my enthusiasm's about LA. I mean, never say never, but my enthusiasm's about Los Angeles. There could be a part 2. I don't know about a part 2 for 3 years though. That was like college and
No, it'll be faster now.
hell. Yeah, it
It'll
was
be way
hellish
faster.
in a way.
You'll
The process
condense it.
is hard.
Yeah, you'll get a budget. It'll be like people come to you. It'll be a whole different deal.
Yeah.
But listen, first time out is. But was it fun?
Yeah, it was. No, it was fun. I just think about like when any artist, no matter what you're making, the stages of when you're making something, and the process is so challenging. Some people live for the process. I'm a beginning and end type of gal. The process was just like, oh yeah, I've never been depressed this many days in a row, or like somebody said no and I'm triggered for the rest of the week that I'm a loser, or can I do this, or all the questions you ask yourself. Maybe looking back in my, maybe after I can go on a vacation or something, I'll be able to like be more grateful for the process. But the process is like, and again, because I've never made a book before and I'm not a known photographer, it was just so much. But one thing I do know is like I'm a really strong person and I can persevere through almost anything. So I knew I could get this done, but it was just like how, who, what, where, when, and why, and how, and all those things. And like, yeah, that was, and getting a publisher. What? That's not easy either. Yeah. How did I get a publisher? That's a good question, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I was like, okay, let's do the traditional route. Let me get a book agent. And then, you get a book agent. And I had an amazing book agent named Eve McSweeney, who I love because she's a big book agent. And she's like, doing nonfiction, fiction books for like $1 million deals and stuff. And art books, as you know, don't really make tons of money. And you have to put money into it. Even no matter if you're me or Tom Ford, you have to put money into making the book. So she was like, she kept saying, I'm not going to really make money for this, but your idea and what you're doing is so great. I want to stand behind it. So she really was the one that worked really hard because there was one publisher who was very big, we won't say their name, who was very interested and kind of kept me involved in thinking it was going to happen for a while, like maybe a year, while I was still finishing it. And then when I realized, oh, they're not that serious about it, and they were so powerful, and then this publisher who we love, Damiani, came along and was like, we love everything about it. We love the way it looks. We love the name. We don't want to change anything. And we're going to let you have creative control because we believe in what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, Damiani's lit because it's Italy, so the printing's going to be exceptional. And the way it's made is going to be exceptional. So I was like really lucky to get that because there was a 3-month period where I stopped working on the book before I got the publishing deal because I was like, maybe this isn't going to happen. I need to walk away from this for 5 seconds because it's like driving me crazy. And then they showed up and they were like, but you got to get it done in 2 months.
Because Rizzoli slept.
I don't even know.
I'm just guessing. I'm
like,
just throwing a
why
name
are
out
you?
there.
I don't even know.
Okay.
Yeah. But Damiani was just like, you got 2 months to make this now. And I think at that point I had 100 photos done. So I had to get finish the last 20, plus there were like maybe 15 reshoots that I thought were like kind of lukewarm and could have been better. That, plus my art director, shout out to Kilo Quiche. This was her first book too. So we're all just doing this for the first time. Shout out to Brian Roediger, who's the king of books. And Brent Rollins, too. Those are 2 brothers of mine, and they definitely had support when we had questions of certain things. But we're doing this all by ourselves, and like all the things you have to get done to make sure it's ready for print. And even though it's not heavily written, the written part of it, that I'm not a writer necessarily. So that was not easy to have like a whole department to hire an editor, a proofreader, and that. It's just a lot of things you learn so fast, and you just have to be, again, like, have grace and just always be honest and say, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me how to do this? Because it's like you have to have no ego. You just have to have no ego, period. Like, yeah.
Is there any final words or thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I made the book that I've always wanted to see about Los Angeles, the Los Angeles that I know, the subcultures that I've been around forever, and the people that inspire me. So I just hope that everybody sees that, like, this was really made from those intentions and that.
All right. Jasmine Benjamin, stylist, photographer, publisher. Fantastic work. Congrats, and can't wait for the next thing you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Book signing downstairs at the Artbook table, too. If you guys